Hey guys, Uncle Jay here. Some of you may remember this story. I posted this story, The Hockey Game from Hell, a long time ago, and it got pulled because I violated some terms where I discussed violence and inflicting self-harm. So the context is that a person in the story made a suicide attempt. They're okay. They're fine. They got the help that they needed. Thank God. The violence part of it is hockey in the late 80s, early 90s, where it was a very violent game compared to now. And there were fights all over the place in the sport of hockey. So if I get flagged again for this, the fine folks at YouTube, if you just please listen to this story in its entirety and the context as it's being told, I think you'll understand that I don't encourage violence or self-harm or anything like that. This is an experience that I had when I was much younger than I am now. Those of you that don't know this story, well, here goes. When I was a teenager, I got turned on to hockey from my best friend, Steve Durazo. He's the first friend I made when I moved out from the Midwest of California, and he was really big into hockey. He's half Scottish, half Mexican. I call him a Scotsican. And I remember seeing his bedroom for the very first time. He had Sports Illustrated clippings all over the wall. I had Heather Thomas posters and all kinds of shit, but he had hockey stuff on his wall. He had clippings of like Marty McSorley and Ty Domi and Bob Probert and all these guys just beating the snot out of each other in hockey games. And Steve was playing in a league in Newbury Park, an ice hockey league, and he got in a fight and got suspended for 2 games, maybe 3. I'm not sure. It was a long time ago. But when they mailed him that notice saying you're hereby suspended for a fight that you instigated during this game against whoever it was, he took that suspension notice and he framed it and put it on his wall. So he introduced me to hockey, and I fell in love with it right away. And I played hockey with him in these different leagues and pickup games and stuff, and for years, 2-3 years, and maybe a bit longer than that. Seems like it anyway. And inline skating was a big thing that just came out. So there's inline skating leagues all over the place, popping up everywhere. And so everybody's got rollerblades, and everybody's now into hockey. And back then it was a much tougher game in those days than it is now, by far. I don't even watch hockey anymore. It's just a different game, and that's okay. It was much more exciting back then. So when I was playing hockey, I ended up getting in my fair share of fights, a lot of them. A lot. But that's just kind of how it was then. And we joined this league that was at a roller skating rink in Port Hueneme, California. And it was in a really, really bad part of town. There was stabbings and shootings and all kinds of shit in that area. And but it was cheap to play there. It didn't cost much. The league fees were, a lot cheaper than they were anywhere else. So we played there, but it drew a lot of rough people too as well. And the team that we were on, the Bruins, we had a good team. We had a really good coach, and we were doing pretty good. And we busted our ass that season, and we ended up in the finals. And I thought we probably had our odds of winning the championship that year. We probably had probably a 40% chance. I wasn't sold that we were going to win, but I thought we had a pretty good chance. I thought we had a decent shot. But getting up to that point, we were doing drills all the time. all the time, just really trying hard, and we would go and watch this other team, the other teams in the semifinals. We would go and watch them play, and we would focus on players and how they were handling the puck and the plays that they were doing. And so we took it seriously. I did, especially because I've never won anything ever in my life. I never got first place in anything. And I really wanted to win this game. In those days, there weren't participation trophies. You know, they weren't, like, people just weren't given things. Like, oh, you showed up, here's a trophy or whatever. Like, you had to earn a trophy. Sometimes you'd get a ribbon if you got, like, second or third place. But, you know, what's the saying goes, if you're not first, you're last. I mean, that applied back in the 80s and the 90s. Things were, it was difficult. I remember failing in school in every grade I was in. The only thing I was good at in school was wrestling. I was very good at wrestling. I remember in the 8th grade, I made it to the finals, the wrestling finals, but I had the stomach flu, and I was puking and pissing out of my ass. I was very, very sick, but I didn't want to get knocked down to like 3rd or 4th place or whatever. Is me and Todd Malasich in the finals in our weight class, and I was sick that day, and I was so fucking mad. I waited for my parents went off to work, and I felt incredibly miserable. But I hopped on my bike, and I rode my bike 5 miles to school. I threw up twice on the way there in someone's bushes and shit. I got to school and I'm dripping sweat, I'm shaking, and I have no energy, and everybody's in the gymnasium. I go in the locker room, I change into my singlet, and I come out, and all the kids are like, oh my God, Jay's here. He made it here. He's here. And there was a teacher there that said, hey, thought you're supposed to be home sick. And I just looked at her, and I was like as white as a sheet. And she immediately went, oh, yeah, you don't look good. And I said, I am sick. She said, what are you doing here? And I said, I'm going to give it my best. And I would have been happy with 2nd place. I didn't want to take less than that. So, got out on the mat, shook Todd's hand. He's like, dude, you look like shit. I said, pin me before I puke on you. And we rolled around for maybe a couple minutes, and he beat me. And I got up, I threw up in a trash can, and I rode my bike home. So I just never lucked out in anything. When I got to high school, my freshman year, I did very well in wrestling, and I wanted to be varsity, and I was close to getting it, but my grades were so terrible that I didn't quite make it. And I remember right into my sophomore year, the coach that I had, was his name Mr. Rawlings or something like that? He was also the football coach at that time. He hated my guts because I was getting D's and F's in school. I was a complete and utter failure in the eyes of every staff at the high school. My parents weren't happy with me. My dad beat me a lot. But anyway. So I remember I got kicked off the wrestling team right into my sophomore year, and the wrestling coach pulled me aside and he said, "You're off the team. You're done. You got to get your grades up." And I'm like, "Well, that really sucks." And he just kind of casually looked around to make sure no one was in earshot, and he said, "All last year you did nothing but flunk every class you were in." And he said my full name, and he said, "You're not going to amount to shit in life. You're a fucking failure." That fucking stung. And that wasn't cool. And I quit high school. I said, fuck it. This is the only thing that's keeping me going to school. And you took it away from me. So I quit school. I dropped out. So, getting back to this hockey game. We made it to the finals. It's the final game. I'm in the van with Steve and some of the other guys, and we're on our way to Port Hueneme, and we're taking one of the outer roads where they do a lot of the, well, back then there was a lot of strawberry fields. I don't know what the fuck's out there now, but we're taking one of the outer roads to get there to stay off the highway. And on the way there, we get passed up by a fire truck, an ambulance, cops, and everything. And I didn't really think much of it until we got to the parking lot of the rink. And that's where we see, like, everything there. And I was thinking, it must have been a stabbing or somebody got robbed and shot or something. We get out of the van and we start grabbing our bags. One of the guys on the team came running up. He said, "Oh my God, did you guys hear what happened?" I'm like, "No, what are you talking about? What happened? We just got here." And I forget the name of our goalie, but he said his name. He said, "So-and-so, and we drove here in his truck, and he was very distraught and upset, and his girl left him and packed her bags and left him, and he was really upset, and he said, I'm in the truck with him, and he's crying, and he's distraught, and he pulled out a buck knife, and he said, life sucks, man. And he slit his wrists in the truck, and blood was spraying everywhere. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, I had no idea that it blew me away that somebody would do that to themselves, that they were that upset. And I felt terrible. And I'm like, oh my God. And I'm trying to look around, and I see some of the people are kind of parting the way there. And I see him, like, he's all gauzed up around his wrists, and they have him on a stretcher, and they're loading him into the ambulance. And I'm like, holy shit, I hope he ends up being okay. And I make eye contact with him, and Steve's next to me, and he's looking at me, he's looking at Steve, he's all, I'm sorry, guys. And they're loading him in, they're about to shut the doors, and Steve yells at the top of his lungs, you could have waited till after the fucking game, you asshole. This is how much this game meant to us. And I had this talk with Steve on the way up there. I said, I just want to win. I just want a trophy once in my fucking life. I just want to win. We weren't going to win. We weren't going to fucking win. Our goalie tried to kill himself in the parking lot. This is like the Stanley Cup game, and the goalie slits his wrist in the fucking truck. I'm sorry that he was upset. I'm sorry he's going through a tough time, enough to end his life. He could have waited till after the fucking game. So now we're talking to the coach, and he's pacing around, stressed out. We're like, what the fuck did we do? We can't play with an empty net the whole game. Did we just forfeit? Did we come this far? Did we fight this long and this hard in this season to just give it up? We were trying to find someone to play goalie in that game. And our only option was a goalie that nobody wanted because he had a glass eye. If you just even wrist shot on his glove side, he just swats at it and hopes for the best. This guy just played pickup. No team wanted him. Super nice guy, but he had an accident, and he had one eye, and God bless his heart. You know, he loved the game and just wanted to play. So we got on the payphone, and we called him up. And we're like, hey, what are you up to? And he's like, dude, I was just about to hop in the car and come over and watch the game. Yeah? Well, bring your gear. What are you talking about? Yeah, we're going to put you in the pipes. Are you kidding me? Like, he was so excited. Wow. And he shows up and he's like, oh, hey guys. He's shaking everybody's hand and shit. And we're just going, oh, fuck. We got a half-blind goalie in the finals. Well, let's just do our best. But my coach was determined. He was like Herb Brooks. He's like, no, we're gonna win this shit. You guys change your attitudes right now. He said, they're not expecting this. I'm like, well, none of us were. And he came up with some plays, and he looked at me, and he said, Jay, I want you to play right wing. I played right wing on occasion. I was pretty good at defense because I could skate backwards just as fast as I could going forwards at that time. And he said, we're going to switch you up. He said, you're going to play right wing. He said, as soon as we get in control of the puck, make sure you're on sides. And once you get into their zone, go. He said, don't even look for a pass. He's all, guys, don't pass the puck to Jay. Jay, I want you to screen that goalie. And I don't give a shit what they do to you. You stay in that crease and you piss that goalie off. And if you see somebody take a shot, drop. I'm like, fuck, okay. Well, here it is, game time. And I think we were down, by the end of the first period, we were down a goal. We were doing good. Oh, yeah, and the coach said, if I see anybody, he said, if you guys see anybody get near our goalie, he said, murder him. I don't care. I don't care. And so he wanted me to also like screen the goalie, but also draw a penalty. So they'd be a man short. There was a reason behind all this stuff. But this happened so long ago that it's just kind of, it's just in time, you know, the things just kind of fade from your memory. But I'm trying to remember as much as I can here. I remember just getting lumber shoved in my face. I chipped a tooth. I got hit with the puck a couple times from just slap shots. Me not getting out of the way in time. My ribs were killing me from getting high sticked, and the pucks hit me and everything. But we got into some fights, and I got busted up pretty good. And we got to the third period, and it was tied up. And at this point, it was just by pure luck. And a lot of violence. And I don't know how we did it, you guys, but we ended up winning that game. It was just like a chance deflection off a skate, and the puck went in the net. And then we just killed the clock at that point. Just burning time until the third period was over. We won. And in my mind, I'm thinking, I did something. I won. I earned a trophy. I did it. And I got blood coming out of my face, and my tooth is chipped, and I'm exhausted. I'm beat up, and a couple guys needed stitches, and it was a rough game. We get in the locker room where somebody brought champagne and spraying it everywhere, and it was a moment I'll never forget. That moment, and I was just so proud of myself that I achieved something. And the team achieved something. And the guy that ran the league, that owned the rink, he always dressed in like 70s clothes and had this hat and everything, and this velvet jacket and shit. And he always smelled of like Pall Malls and everything. And he came in, he's like, guys, that was a hell of a game. Holy shit. I've never seen a game like that in my life. And he walked in empty-handed, and he's just congratulating everybody. He went to everybody and shook everyone's hand. And he got to me and he shook my hand. I looked at him and I said, when do we get trophies? And he goes, trophies? Oh, yeah, guys, sorry about that. You know what? There just wasn't enough money left over in the budget to buy trophies for you guys. But tell you what, congratulations. You earned it. And my heart sank. And I just felt so defeated after everything I've been through. And just getting the hell beat out of me and for years. And then in my mind, I could see that wrestling coach like laughing, saying, "What did I tell you?" You know, and I was just fucking just done. And I slammed my stick up against the thing, broke it, packed my bag, and we got out of there. And I didn't say a word to anybody. We just left. And my best friend Steve, he knew how much that meant to me because he knew everything I was going through in life at that time, and I just didn't get a break. So, so this asshole spent the league money on probably blowing pussy, you know, instead of, he could have bought us just one trophy. It didn't have to be a big one, just one trophy, and just let us all have it for a day like they do the Stanley Cup. But the guy couldn't be bothered to do that. So I just kind of felt like the black cloud over my head is not going to go anywhere, and really just upset me. And years later, several years later, I'm at Steve's place, his family. My mom and dad were living in, I think, Seattle at the time. Yeah, and but I was still in SoCal. I went over to Steve's family's place for Christmas and Thanksgiving. I did that every year, you know. And hung out with them, had a good dinner and everything. And Steve said, it's time for me to head out. And he's like, "Oh, Jay, I got you something. I got you a present." I'm like, "You did? You didn't have to get me anything." Let me show you guys. He got me a hockey trophy. 1992 league champions, the Bruins. And I don't know where that coach is now, but you can go fuck yourself. High fives and boners. I hope you guys are all doing well. And if you like this story, please give me a thumbs up, leave a comment, and hit subscribe. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything, and it helps my channel. And let me tell you how it helps my channel. If you guys subscribe to it, the algorithm sends it out to other people, and maybe some other people could discover it and listen to my silly stories. So have a good one. High fives and boners.